Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're diving into action controllers in Magento 2, one of the core components for handling requests and responses in the framework. If you are developing a custom module or need to extend Magento functionality, understanding controllers is a must. So let's get started. In Magento 2, an action controller is responsible for processing incoming HTTP requests and generating responses. They are part of the MVC, Model View Controller architecture, and serve as a bridge between a request and the appropriate model and view. Magento 2 has three types of controllers. Frontend controllers is for handling customer-facing pages, admin controllers, handling requests in the Magento admin, and API controllers. They handle REST and SOAP API requests. Each controller typically implements HTTP GET action interface for front-end controllers and action PHP class for admin routes. Let's create a simple front-end controller in a custom module. First of all, we need to define a route in our module's routes.xml file. This configuration means that any request starting with custom will be handled by our module. Step number 2, we have to create a controller class. Instead of extending the action class, we will implement HTTP GET action interface. All controllers in a Magento 2 module have to be placed in the controller directory. In the custom controller, we have to implement execute method, and inside execute method, we have to create a new instance of a result and provide information such as content and return this result object back from execute method. Now, when you visit custom index route, it should display hello, this is a custom controller in Magento 2. Let's find out different result types. Magento 2 controllers return different types of results. Some commonly used ones are raw result. This type of a result used to return plain text or raw output. Page result, it loads a full Magento page. Redirect result, it redirects to another page. Or JSON result, returns JSON data useful for AJAX requests. For instance, to return a JSON response, we have to create a new type JSON or JSON result and set data that is associative array and return the result JSON object back. For admin controllers have to extend Magento backend app action class instead of Magento framework app action class. They also require proper access control list permissions. For example, index admin controller extends action class and implements protected function _is_allowed. Inside is_allowed, we have to use authorization is_allowed to provide ACL information to our controller, who can access this action controller. And execute method is the one where we place some admin logic. To access an admin controller, the URL should start with /admin and then your route controller action pattern. Now, with this knowledge about action controllers in Magento 2, let's extend our custom module that we started in episode 1. If you haven't watched, make sure to click the link, or I will leave the link below in the description of this video. And let's extend our module and provide an access point, action controller, where we will place our custom page. When clicking on My Orders Products, this URL leads to 404 page in Magento 2. It says, whoops, our bad. So it's a standard 404 page. And for our extension to process this URL, we have to create an action controller, a configuration file called rows.xml. And this is a minimum because we also would have to create a layout configuration file that will be responsible for rendering information such as title and some other information like products grid. So let's go ahead into our editor and let's create a new folder called controller. And inside controller directory, we will have an account directory where we will place a PHP class that is going to be an action controller. And this PHP class has to match this last part of the route or URI that is orders products. But we will put first letter as a capital orders products.php. Inside this file. Let's add a namespace. Magento orders products controller account and name of the class is going to be orders products, and an action controller in Magento 2 has to implement one of the interfaces. HTTP GET action interface in this scenario. However, there is HTTP POST action interface, HTTP connect, delete, options, patch, put, trace action interfaces. But we're going to use HTTP GET action interface. And this interface says that we have to implement one of the methods, and this method is going to be named execute. So the execute method is a single method that is responsible for rendering page or returning some response. And we will specify a response interface as our result or return value from the execute method. In order for us to render a page, we have to have a construct method where we will place our dependency, and this dependency is called result factory. And let's specify visibility. So this is a result factory class that will allow us to create an instance of a result. And we are going to use a page constant. So we can create a page or a result or a response. It doesn't matter how we will call it. But by the end of the day, we have to return this response from the execute method. So let's go ahead and use variable, and this variable, let's call it page. View result page. This page PHP class implements result interface. So let's be more specific and use result interface as a return type of the execute method. This action controller is not visible unless we will create a configuration inside etc directory. We will have to place this configuration file in the front end directory, and this file is called roads.xml. This is a configuration of our module when it comes to providing information on how our module is going to process an incoming request. And we're going to use standard router, and we will rely on a customer route, because if we will check customer account again, our route starts with customer. That's why we have to use a customer. In case of some custom namings, let's say Magento, we will have to use a new ID called Magento. And we also have to provide a module name. This is a component name, but called a module name. That is going to be responsible for processing requests after a module named Magento customer is executed. Meaning that when Magento processes a customer account orders products request, it will check Magento customer module first, and if it won't find a controller, Magento will pass processing of the request to Magento orders products, and this is how this customer account orders products action controller will be triggered for execution and processing HTTP GET request. In order to test our changes, we have to clear cache. And if we will refresh the page and navigate to My Orders Products, we can see we no longer see 404 page, we see a Magento empty page with some additional right sidebar. And this is our next step, that is we have to add a new layout configuration file in order to customize this orders products page and render our own information. So we're going to name it customer underscore account underscore orders products .xml, where we will do few things. First and important, we are going to use an update XML node, and we will provide a handle customer account. It means that we are going to reuse customer account handle, and on top of the configuration that is placed in the customer account.xml, we are going to add additional customization that will be rendered on this custom page, including the information and blocks and sections from customer account handle. So inside body, let's go ahead and use reference block with the name page main title. It's an existing block where we will trigger an action that is set page title, and we will provide argument name title, type string, my orders products. Let's go and clear cache again, and let's refresh the page. Now we have our custom My Orders Products page with the title, with the left customer account navigation. And this is where we will start adding our products that were ordered by this particular customer on this My Orders Products page. That's it on today's tutorial about action controllers in Magento 2. We covered what they are, how to create, and what's the difference between Frontend and admin controllers. Shout out to our channel supporters on Patreon and YouTube membership, and if you would like to support this channel and get early access to new materials and videos, make sure to check patreon.com/maxpranko and YouTube membership. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit like, subscribe to this channel and hit notification bell so you don't miss future Magento tutorials and you will learn Magento in the right way.